Hello and welcome to Easy English with Emma. Today, I want to share a very special story with you. It is a true story about a traveler named Thomas who loved exploring the world but had one major fear: speaking English. Thomas knew some basic words from books, but whenever he had to speak to a real person in a foreign country, his heart would beat fast, his palms would sweat, and he would stay completely silent. Have you ever felt that exact same nervous feeling? If you have, you are not alone. Let's dive into what happened to Thomas on a rainy Tuesday in London and the powerful lesson that changed his life forever. It was a cold, rainy morning in central London. Thomas had just arrived at a busy local coffee shop. He was tired from his flight, feeling cold, and desperately wanting a hot cup of coffee to warm up. He walked inside, stood in line behind other customers, and looked up at the menu board. His stomach tightened. The menu was entirely in English, and the barista behind the counter was moving very fast, taking orders with a loud, confident voice. Thomas pulled out his phone to translate some words, but the line was moving quickly. Suddenly, it was his turn to step up to the counter. The barista looked at him, smiled warmly, and asked, "Hi there, what can I get for you today?" In that exact second, Thomas panicked. His mind went completely blank. Instead of speaking, he froze. He smiled awkwardly, pointed silently at a random picture on the menu board, and handed over his credit card without saying a single word. The barista gave him his cup, but looked a little confused and didn't smile back. Thomas sat down at a small corner table near the window. He looked at his hot coffee, but he didn't feel happy. He felt defeated. He thought to himself, "I have been studying English for months, and I still can't even order a coffee properly. Why am I so scared?" Have you ever felt like that after a small interaction? It is a heavy feeling. But Thomas's story was about to take an unexpected turn. Sitting at the next table was an elderly gentleman with kind eyes, reading a newspaper and wearing a classic woolen scarf. He had noticed Thomas's quiet struggle at the counter. The old gentleman folded his newspaper, took a gentle sip of his tea, and looked right at Thomas. Instead of ignoring him, he smiled warmly and spoke in slow, clear English. "Excuse me, my friend, is your coffee warm enough for this rainy London morning?" Thomas was surprised. He blinked, looked around to make sure the man was talking to him, and realized he had a choice: stay silent or try to speak. Thomas took a deep breath, remembered his basic phrases, and answered honestly with a small smile. "Yes, thank you. It is very good, but my English is not very good." The old gentleman chuckled warmly and said something that Thomas never forgot. "Nobody's English is perfect on a rainy morning, my friend. But language isn't a test. It's just a bridge between two human beings." Those simple words, "a bridge between two human beings," hit Thomas right in the heart. The heavy fear inside his chest started to melt away like ice in warm water. For the next 20 minutes, Thomas and the elderly gentleman talked. They didn't use complicated grammar or fancy words. Thomas used simple phrases he already knew. "I like to travel," "I am learning English," and "thank you for your kindness." Whenever Thomas couldn't find a word, he simply smiled and said, "Could you speak slowly, please?" And the gentleman happily repeated it with a patient smile. Thomas realized something profound in that coffee shop. The person listening to you isn't judging your grammar. They just want to connect with you as a person. When it was time to leave, Thomas stood up, shook the gentleman's hand, and said with a genuine, confident smile, "Thank you so much for talking with me. You made my day." The gentleman smiled back and replied, "Remember this moment whenever you feel afraid. You don't need perfection to speak. You only need courage." Thomas walked out of that coffee shop into the rainy London streets, but the rain didn't feel cold anymore. He felt warm, proud, and completely transformed. That true story holds a powerful lesson for every single one of us learning English today. Perfection is not the goal. Connection is the goal. Whenever you feel nervous about making a mistake, remember Thomas in the coffee shop. Take a deep breath, smile, and take the first step. You are stronger and more capable than you think. Thank you so much for listening to this story with me today. If it inspired you, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and tell me in the comments, what is one fear you are ready to let go of today? Stay motivated, keep building your bridge, and I will see you in our next video. Goodbye.